remember it like it was yesterday. It was about midnight, and I had just finished my shift at the gas station. As I walked out of the station, I noticed that the night was so beautiful that I decided to take the bus home instead of the usual cab. Even though the ride would be longer, I wanted to see the moonlight reflecting on the lake. But this turned out to be a huge mistake, because when I got onto the bus, I realized that it was nearly empty. There were only 2 other passengers, an elderly couple in the front. I decided to sit closer to the back so I could enjoy the scenery, but this meant that I was now only a few seats away from the couple. After about 10 minutes, the bus pulled over at the next stop and the old man got off. The old woman followed him, but not without first giving me a strange look. Suddenly, I felt a little uncomfortable, but I quickly shook off the feeling and tried to focus on the moon, which was now shining through the clouds. Another 10 minutes passed, then the bus stopped again. This time at my stop, the elderly woman got off. I watched her walk away with the man until they disappeared into the darkness. Now, it was just me and the driver, and I was starting to feel very lonely. But then something caught my attention. At the next stop, the bus pulled over and a new passenger boarded. She was tall and thin, and I could tell even from afar that she was very pale. What I didn't notice at first was that she was wearing a white dress, a very strange choice of clothing for such a cold night. She also seemed a bit out of place, almost as if she didn't belong there. She slowly made her way towards the back of the bus and sat down in the seat right behind me. I could feel her staring at me, but I didn't dare turn around. I mean, why would I? We were practically strangers. So I kept my eyes focused on the window, watching the streetlights go by. To be honest, I was trying to come up with any excuse to get off at the next stop, so I would not have to endure the awkward silence any longer. All of a sudden, the woman spoke. "Beautiful night, isn't it?" she said softly. Her voice sounded sad, like someone mourning the loss of a loved one. I couldn't help but agree. "Yes, it is," I said, my voice barely a whisper. I still hadn't turned around to face her, but I could sense her gaze burning into me. After what felt like an eternity, we arrived at my stop. I quickly paid the fare and rushed off the bus, relieved to finally escape the suffocating atmosphere. As I walked away, I cast a quick glance back. That's when I saw it. The woman was gone. Not only that, but the entire bus was empty. It was as if she had vanished into thin air. Startled, I hurried my pace, eager to put as much distance between myself and that bus as possible. It was until until I reached my apartment and shut the door behind me that I allowed myself to relax. Shaking off the unsettling encounter, I went to bed, hoping to forget about the strange woman on the bus. But the following morning, as I recounted the previous night's events to my roommate, he shared something that sent shivers down my spine. He told me that a local legend claims that if you ride the midnight bus alone, you might just end up sharing your journey with a ghost. Apparently, there was a fatal bus accident years ago, and the spirits of those who died are said to wander the streets at night, seeking a way to move on. I dismissed his story as mere superstition until I remembered the eerie details of my own experience. The old couple, the vacant seats, the sudden disappearance. Could it be that I had unknowingly boarded a ghost bus? Determined to uncover the truth, I went to the local library to delve into the town's history. Among the dusty archives, I found an article from the local newspaper, the headline reading, "Deadly bus crash claims multiple lives." The article detailed a tragic accident that occurred on a cold winter night, eerily similar to the night of my bus ride. It told how a speeding bus had crashed into a tree, killing several passengers, including a woman who had been sitting in the exact same seat as the mysterious passenger. Overcome with a sudden realization, I rushed back to the bus stop. As I stood there waiting, a sense of foreboding washed over me. Then it hit me. The driver, he must have seen the ghost too. With renewed determination, I flagged down the next bus and asked the driver if he remembered picking up a lone passenger on the night of January. His eyes widened in surprise. "Of course I do," he said, his voice shaking. "How could I forget? You were the only passenger for the last 30 minutes of my shift." His words sent a chill down my spine. It was true. I wasn't crazy. I had indeed encountered a ghost. But why did she choose to appear to me? And what was her story? As I pondered these questions, I decided to pay another visit to the library. This time, I asked the librarian to help me find the name of the woman who had died in the bus accident. After searching through the old yearbooks, she finally found it. The woman's name was Sarah Williams. Determined to learn more, I went to the local cemetery and searched for her grave. As I stood before her weathered headstone, a sense of peace seemed to wash over me. It was as if Sarah herself were offering me closure. Back home, I delved deeper into Sarah's story, discovering that she had been a beloved member of the community, known for her kindness and radiant smile. But how did she end up haunting the bus route all these years later? I learned that Sarah had been engaged to be married, and her fiancé, a soldier, was set to return home soon. She had boarded that fateful bus to meet him at the train station, excited to share the news of her engagement. But tragically, the bus crashed, ending her life before she could fulfill her dreams. It was said that Sarah's spirit remained on the bus route because she was searching for her fiancé, unaware that he had died in the war before he could return home. Over the years, many had witnessed the ghost of Sarah and the phantom bus, forever bound by their tragic fate. And now I too had become part of that story. I knew that I had been chosen to witness Sarah's ghost for a reason. Maybe it was to let her know that people still remembered her, or perhaps to offer her the closure she had been denied in life. From that day on, I became an advocate for those who had died on the bus, working to preserve their memory and seeking justice for their families. I also started taking extra precautions whenever I rode the bus at night, always checking the seat beside me to make sure I wasn't sharing it with a ghost. And so the legend of the ghost bus continued, a chilling reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring power of love and loss.